He's right on the point.
Yeah.
He's looking at you.
I should be dead. He actually took that stupid art.
Oh god! There's so many of them there! Woo! Nope!
Where is it? Where? Oh, Space Where? Diamond Where?
You couldn't get me! What's poppin', Guardians? We made it to the end game of Destiny 2, the video game. Didn't think we'd get here, but as a celebration, as a final stand, as basically what I've been wanting to do since forever, we're making a build video for PvP for every single exotic in the game, as mentioned in my last video, for Warlocks, for Titans, for Hunters, every single exotic armor piece. Weapons and other weapons in the game, which there's a lot that have been added in the final update in Monuments of Triumph. I might start doing weapon videos or something like that, especially because Fellwinter's Lie right now for the week of Iron Banner, it's mind-boggling. There's a lot of different roles that can really change up your playstyles. So, but we're gonna start off with something that I just had to put together real quick, as I was working on 3 other build videos for each class, but I figured I needed something to be a little more simple yet very, very effective, and especially because Vex Mythoclast got a huge buff and rework for the final update of Destiny 2. So of course we're gonna start off with Rain of Fire. I have done this before, but it is quite different than the last time, as you will see. So build videos are going to be quite different because now we have set armor bonuses and a whole new armor stat system that you really have to worry about, and would also be somewhat of a guide for you to be able to look for what you need to farm for, especially because there's a lot of meta defining changes for set armor bonuses that are effects such as like resupply from Europa, which feels like it's kind of mandatory if you're a PvP player. Also too, such as like if you're in a special armor enthusiast, then the Taken King's armor set from Kingsfall, you're going to want to pick up some of those pieces. But there's so many different choices that for this particular armor set, I'm going to narrow down a few choices. However, let's talk about Rain of Fire real quick. Air dodging reloads all your weapons and improves the airborne effectiveness of fusion rifles and linear fusion rifles. Final blows from these weapons make you radiant. Provides a moderate benefit to AE for these weapons. This exotic alone, of course, screams out Vex Mythoclast, and yes, that is the main thing that we're going to be pairing this up with, and there's no other weapon like Vex Mythoclast that is specifically fusion rifle. Therefore, Rain of Fire just seems like it was kind of made for each other. However, as we will find out and talk about later, Vex Mythoclast has a really hard time getting that first kill. Any substantial kill afterwards, especially when you have Radiant proc, damage boosts, and other stuff that we're going to be talking about that stack on with each other, yes, that's a lot easier to do. However, that's where you're going to be pairing up your favorite fusion rifle, either be Burning Guilt from Trials, Deliverance from the Raid, or right now, because it's Iron Banner, I highly recommend Pressurized Precision. Focus that, get a really good roll, just like those you see in the screen right now. Especially because adaptive frames are the much more forgiving frames for fusion rifles. I was using this precision frame, and precision was just feeling a little bit too slow. That 800 charge time is kind of killer. So 664, which is around, because it has a charge time masterwork, is kind of where you want to sit at nicely. And just use it kind of like a pseudo shotgun when you know you can get that range before a shotgun can just blast you in the face. Now, before moving into the subclass, let's talk about a little bit more about Rain of Fire, as it does give you quite a bit of AE, as you're going to see in the screen right now. This is from the D2 Compendium. Thank you everyone from the D2 Compendium. And air dodging can also count for Strand, for Weave Walk, not just Icarus Dash. It also counts for Brood Weave's Weave Walk. And the latter half of this video is going to focus on that as your option. Now, it might not be as effective as Solar, because of Solar at Heat Rises, you can consume your grenade and be up in the air forever, but it is still very nice, and because the Weave Walk speed that you get from just yeeting yourself across with the air dodge is super nice. Let's talk about this version first before we get into the Weave Walk version. Icarus Dash, of course, got a nice buff to now have 3 fragment slots instead of 2. Very nice to have. Heat Rises did get slightly tweaked as well, as the Burst Glide no longer suffers a penalty of movement speed with Heat Rises when you have activated, because when you have it, when you consume your grenade, you'll be able to have an easier time with the air control. That no longer is the case. Burst Glide now has a lot more forgiveness, which I'm gonna be honest, it was the most killer thing about Heat Rises. I hated it a lot, but it was crucial to work with whenever you can get some nasty off angles with Heat Rises up in the air.
Oh, hi.
Yo, I got spells of spores. Let's see what it do.
There's you.
I got something else. I forgot what else I got. And a monster.
Yeah, right. For you to enjoy this.
Freaking that's
The name of the pod is also really good.
Yes, I have. I don't know what heavy had. The fragments you'll be using are going to be listed here, but they're not really necessary to your build. This is something that I just feel like is the best and most effective. Radiant Restoration's duration is increased by Ember Solace. Ember Malevolence, applying Restoration, Cure, or Radiant to allies, gives you ability generation for a short duration. This is really nice if you have like focus on healing grenades and Phoenix Dive whenever you want to proc your Heat Rises, so that when you Phoenix Dive you get Restoration. Along with the healing nade is also going to be healing yourself and allies, and is quite fast to get back as well, while also being beneficial as a team thing to add on to. Ember of Searing, defeating scorched targets grants melee energy and creates Fire Spite. With a Long Mercy, picking up Fire Spite grants restoration. While you revive an ally, you and your other ally getting restoration. These two are just amazing in trials, comp, sixes, just anywhere.
just for the sole fact that the fire sprite as well is really nice as a free healing aspect, but also too when the situations arise, it's really nice to have. And Ember of Singeing possibly returns faster when you scorch targets. Again, you don't have to use this lineup. It's just what I feel is best from when I'm using healing grenades, the sort of healer class, because my main focus is my gun. My main focus is Vex Mythoclast. Song of Flame and Wall of Radiance are the two supers that you want to focus on. You can use Daybreak if you really want to, if you want to get funky. However, I feel like Wall of Radiance is if you're trying to really win a match, this is it. Song of Flame is just really fun to use if I want to ensure that I'm getting a spree with Vex Mythoclast, because as soon as I drop the well, most people don't challenge because they know they're gonna die, and rightfully so. You can hit for 73 to the head. 3 hits from Vex Mythoclast and they're dead. So Vex Mythoclast and other 360 auto rifles have now become 400, and in the long shot, it's not really the biggest game changer and what causes this build to be very strong, but what instead is it causes to be a little bit more forgiveness whenever you're firing your shots, because the number one thing, like I mentioned, is Vex Mythoclast has a hard time getting that first kill, but with this build, once you get that first kill completed, you're gonna go on an insane kill spree that's shown in the clips beforehand. Now, in the screen, you're going to see the changes that were in the Monument of Triumph update on Vex Mythoclast. Most of it mainly is PvE focused. It's not really actually supposed to do anything in PvP besides the linear fusion rifle mode being an ignition. At first glance, it's not like it's going to be the game changer as well. However, that ignition damage does allow it, so if you kill a group of enemy or one enemy that's within a group, you're going to be able to have an easier time killing the other ones that follow up. Either way, the LFR mode is very broken. The aim assist, even for mouse and keyboard, is it's silly. It's just so forgiving and it's so easy just to land those headshots, just like you're gonna see right now.
No! No! Not me!
That's like the just healed.
Don't save me, save her. Oh, you fucking bastard.
20, only 3? Should be fine. Yeah, right. Actually,
Now, it's taking some time for the set armor bonuses to really get wrapped up on what is going to be the best choices. And I did have to do a couple testing because there was come to attention one set that was kind of driving me nuts, and I wasn't able to fully test it until I got the homies clan to really get together and get that fully tested. And the results are disappointing, but it's okay, because if it was working the way I thought it was going to work, it would be broken. If your heat rises up in the air and you show up as a red dot, I thought that the trial set would completely remove you off of radar. Turns out it actually doesn't do anything if your heat rises up in the air, which understandably so. So now we're narrowed down to a couple choices. We'll begin with the two pieces that are very strong and let alone are basically meta defining in this game. Currently right now, the Europa 2-piece set, Resupply, after being out of combat for modern duration, your next final blows grants additional ammo progress and creates an armor power. That is bugged and likely will be forever bugged, because once you fulfill being out of combat, every single other kill will basically give you 20% extra ammo and an overpower. You're probably going to pair this off with literally anything else in the game, and I would highly recommend something like Ferropotent. When your shields begin to regenerate, which is like when you pick up an orb or even the restoration or cure, you gain flinch resistance and damage resistance for a short time. This damage resistance allows you to only take, you have to be taking 3 melees from an enemy. Of course, that doesn't use knockout in order to die from a melee fight. Or it makes it so like Adagio or Precision Instrument is very much mandatory on hand cannons in order to take you down. The flinch resistance is pretty noticeable, but it isn't I think it's only about a 5 or 10%. Or you pair it up with Oryx's Memory, Iron Sharpens Iron. This did get nerfed, which was final blows on Guardians and Power Combatants, generate additional ammo progress. If you're a special ammo enthusiast, especially if you want to ensure that you have enough ammo for your fusion rifles to get your first Radiant procs, then yes, pair that up as well. So these 3 armor set 2 pieces, pretty much flip through them on which one you either 1 can get easier, or 2 which one just better suits your playstyle for this build. So now to the 4 pieces that you should use. Cruel Electrum, the trial set, Primary Survivor. When ally dies, you get bonuses to your handling, reload speed, target position, and reduce flinch. It's very noticeable. It's very, very strong, and it's very great for like 6s. It's actually unironically not that great for trials, just kind of depends on your team. But Primary Phantom is the most overpowered part of this, because final blows with primary ammo weapons remove you off of radar for 7 seconds. This is great because that means that you can be off of radar with your Vex Mythoclast if you're going on a chain kill spree. However, like I said, this doesn't work if you're in the air with heat rises, so this will actually be better in the Strand version, or just if your preference is being off of radar, and it's just overall a very, very strong 4-piece set. Now the last one is going to be the Crucible comp playlist set. Primary chain, primary ammo, weapon, final blows, grant second bonus to range and handling until you're defeated. This goes up to 3 times and is up to 15 points for range and handling. In Vex Mythoclast, it's actually super, super noticeable because sometimes you just can't beat that hand cannon that's just so far away down the lane when you're just trying to get your first kill off the bat. So this is really, really great, and this stacks until you die, which is even better. Makes this for chain killing to be a lot more easier. Now the final one is literally, did you just want stompies on any of your builds? This 4-piece gives you so, and this is for all classes, does not stack with other speed boots, so it's perfect to have basically 2 exotics at once. You wanted Transversal Steps on Warlock while also having Rain of Fire, use the 4-piece from comp. Very, very, very strong. I also highly suggest, and I'll point it out right now because I never made a video about it, especially because now we have different mods. You're either going to want to use Colossus Armor or Bulwark for this set. Those are the focuses that are going to give you the stats you need, which is Health, Super, and Class. Melee and Grenade, kind of not really necessary, especially on Dawnblade, because it's going to be Malevolence. It's going to give you those class abilities. However, on the Strand version, you're going to want to get as close as high to melee stat as possible, because that's how you're going to regenerate your needle, so that way you can be able to wee walk a lot more often. So use Brawler because it's going to be melee and health, and mix in a bit of Bulwark for those sets as well.
Dang it!
Less Cyclops, and I think we should spawn.
Oh god! Oh!
I was hoping Timmy would hold his own there. Woo! Let's go.
Good job!
Oh, here we go.
It is...
Good, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then I need like max minutes
What's the vow?
before we start.
Now, at this point in time, mods are very much something you should be very familiar with. If you're either new, you're going to want to either check up on other tutorials on mods, but I will quickly explain them over because this is something that I do want to keep short, as we do have more other focuses in build videos in the future. But real quick, just targeting mods based on your element, based on the type of weapon. Of course, solar is what we're going to need for Vex Mythoclast. Stasis was for my fusion, but switch it to accordingly what you're using. In-flight compensator is very, very important because this gives you 15 AE for all your weapons, plus the additional, I think it's like 30 or 40 for rate of fire, plus your Icarus stash gives you a base 20, plus your weapon is going to be giving you, I think, roughly between 20 and 30. So this is really nice because you're naturally already going to be doing a lot of precise hits in the air. It's going to be a lot easier to hit your shots. And especially with Vex Mythoclast, whenever you're pushing on someone that took in cover, you can just fly above them and you'll land your shots a lot more easier than they can even respawn. Dexterity for your weapons. Unflinching, I eventually made this from a only 1 to a 2 just because I was generating already a lot of ammo that I don't think I needed 2 generations. So I would switch this over to 2 unflinchings for your Vex Mythoclast, if not 3 if you really want to, because sometimes it does get a little rough to hit people, especially if they're using EP rounds or something that's really disorientating your screen. Now, solar weapon surge is very important. We'll cycle real back onto this because it goes into pair with absolution, reduces all ability cooldown so you pick up an overpower. Reaper, using your class ability, makes an overpower in your next kill. Powerful attraction vacuums all orbs, and Tibulation extends all armor charges. 145 class ability. Why? Because when you Phoenix dive down or even use your Rift, if you plan on using Rift or anything, you're gonna get a nice 17.8 points of health as overshield. Because we're not playing Void and because the overshield doesn't override Void, we can easily abuse this for our liking because we really don't need our main abilities of melee or grenade. They're just kind of there. We really just need means of staying alive. So get bulwark armor and you'll have a good time. Super oil is at 100 because we're going on a killing spree. You might as well be the first one to get your super energy back. And of course, health. I will tell you this right now, if you're playing Crucible with less than 130 health stat, you're gonna have a very hard time. And when you start getting into the higher stats blocks of like 170, 180, 190, you will never want to go back. Trust me, just bulwark armor, get this as high as you possibly can. Unironically, the Strand version of Rain of Fire honestly is a little bit much more enjoyable than the solar one, only because it's really fun to be able to get that tech of we walk movement That way you can launch yourself. I did do a video about that a little while back. Of course, it's buried behind all the other videos, but just know that you can do the exact same thing that you do with Icarus Dash. You just do it with Weewalk. Just make sure to get the timing right and you'll really launch yourself. This is perfect if you're in a really crap situation and you just need to really get out. You'll be able to just Weewalk straight off away. In the clips I'll follow after this, make sure to pay attention in those situations where I'm using Weewalk to get myself out of sticky situations, regenerate my health, and come right back and finish up the job. Now, one important thing to know about Weewalk is when you exit out of your Weewalk, depending on the duration that you were in it, Woven Mail is going to be granted for you and for your allies. This is kind of situational because if you're not in it for a long time, you're just using it for a movement, then you only get about 2 to 3 seconds. You'll get about to 7 or 8 if you use your whole needle charge, which will be important when you pair it up with the Thread of Transmutation, while you have Woven Mail, Weapon Final Blows, create a tangle. So once you exit out of Weewalk and you're taking someone down, you'll be able to make a tangle, which is not as easy to do in the subclass unless you have strand debuffs going. And the only one that we are doing naturally is Shackle Grenade, which can be a hit or miss for some people, so just get used to the timing. When we do have a tangle, however, we can even further set up our tangle chain killing going with the Wanderer, because tangles you throw will not be affected by gravity and they'll do a suspending burst and be able to tangle up anyone who's just kind of either getting in your way or just going to be trying to rush at you after they notice that their teammate has died, because they assume that you're going to be low HP. This aspect is really fun to use, and it's really nice to pair up also with Grapple because you're able to launch yourself for movement across the map. However, I think it's just important to use Shackle Grenade because it's going to be very difficult again to be getting your Vex Mythoclast kills in the first place in order to get the chain killing going. That's also why in Brood Reaver I use Empowering Rift, because at the start of every match I like to drop down Empower Rift in case of either 1, someone trying to rush at me, or 2, because Empower Rift got reworked completely, you'll be able to get ability energy regeneration, which allows you to get your Arcane Needles charged up as fast as possible. Once again, with Tangles, when you use Thread of Fury, damaging targets with Tangle grants melee energy. This is going to give you a fat chunk of energy back. That way you can get your Weewalk as active as possible. It's very important to kind of just get Weewalk as often as Icarus Dash naturally is, and that's why the big emphasis is behind it. The last things we use is start a warding, pick up overpower, grants Woven Mail. If you pair this up with Resupply, the Europa 2-piece, it goes even better because every kill you're already getting an overpower, so you're going to get Woven Mail completely for free. Generation, deal damage, generates grenade energy. I still don't know if this works in PvP, I'm gonna be honest, but it still pairs up nicely with Thread of Ascent and just a natural generation for your grenade because it's not as easy to get as often. I wish this super can be replaced with anything else in PvP. I genuinely hate this super. It doesn't work when I want it to, and when it does, it just I don't know. It's very sad. It's very unfortunate that we're not getting another choice of Darkness subclass supers, especially for Brood Reaver. I think the Stasis Warlock one is fine. It's okay. Duration kind of sucks, but Needle Storm, oh man, rest in peace, man. This super sucks so badly, and I don't want to hear it from other people like, oh, it worked perfectly fine for me. No, just no. that was a lot. And I am sorry if this was a lot longer of the video than what anyone should be expecting. But it is something that I want to make sure that I'm covering all aspects of a build, especially for an entire build video. As in the future, I will be splitting up different builds for each element, such as, let's say, Gemini Jester for on Void, Gemini Jester on Arc for Hunter. But something like this, I'll have to definitely put together because it's really only Weewalk and Icarus Dash that synergizes with Rain of Fire. So definitely rewatch this over and over. Get your build on, get everything you want, especially for while the week of Iron Banner is out. The population is very high from what I'm hearing, so definitely get some time and enjoy yourself with this build. Get some nice kill sprees, tag me on it. I would love to see it, especially if you're using my build videos. Just always tag me in it, it'll be sick to see. So thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you feel like tagging me in a video and uploading on Discord, join me in Discord. We got a lot more videos for build videos for PvP. Check out the Google Doc below. I'll also be linking every single build video along with the dim link as well. That's all in the description or the top comment. And yeah, that's about it. Enjoy the fashion. Kind of went for a somewhat futuristic military police thing, especially because Rain of Fire doesn't have an ornament and ornaments don't work in PvP. So yeah. All right, that's about it. Take it easy, Guardians.